There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him Jaws.
Jaws is here. Here is Jaws.
50 years of Jaws. Just like Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which celebrated their 40th anniversary, Jaws has managed to stick around to this day. It's a movie
That everyone saw.
and even if you haven't seen it, you're probably aware of it. It's been referenced and parodied countless times, and it's influenced a flood of shitty shark movies, some of which being the very sequels it spawned. We've also gotten good shark movies from it.
You ate my bird.
The John Williams score is iconic. There is the obvious tune that everyone hears when they think of Jaws. But the soundtrack as a whole is perfection. Preparing the Cage is my favorite. It conveys this energy of getting down to business, like it's time to get serious and get shit done. I could picture someone gearing up for a final stand, listening to this. And given the Cage was their final stand before Bruce jumped on the boat, it makes sense. Even the more whimsical tunes are great. Like, yeah, maybe it's a little too adventurous for hunting a killer shark, but that's what I like about it. It's an adventure to kill the beast. For a movie that created the summer blockbuster and has stayed in the public conscious for 50 years, what can you say about it that hasn't already been said? What can one praise that hasn't already been praised? What can one criticize about it if one even does? Even a channel as dim-witted as CinemaSins that pulls criticisms from wherever they can find it couldn't come up with anything. Is it a perfect movie? Is it immune to criticism? Well, you know, there's all kinds of opinions out there. Tapes. Good, neutral, cold, bad, hot. And the chances that everyone has the same good opinion or take is 100 to 1. It's 100 to 1. Now what I want to do is very simple. I want to cut open into these opinions, these tapes. I want to see what the people have to say, spill out onto the dock. It's a beautiful, sunny day, pool is open, the water is nice and clear. Let's kick back and relax as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jaws by looking at some hot takes. Let's see what all the lovely people have to say. It shouldn't have been a franchise. Great start to the video. This is like the most common take I've come across, and it in no way could be considered controversial. It not being a franchise is said by everyone, even the actors. Roy Scheider did everything he could to get out of doing Jaws 2 and turned down doing 3 and 4. Hell, listen to him talk about the route to go doing sequels.
Certainly do. You think we could do Jaws 2?
Jaws 2, yeah.
Son of Jaws, Return of Jaws? Might be that way.
He wasn't far off. Jaws 2 is decent. Jaws 2 is simply the best of the worst. 3 is boring, even though it had a good premise. And Revenge is just bad. Now, depending on who you ask, Revenge is bad. Or bad in a good kind of way. But 2 is easily the best of the sequels. It's basically just a teen slasher movie with a killer shark. I think something that also helps too is how close it feels to the first compared to 3 and 4. There is the obvious example of it having Roy Scheider back, who despite not wanting to do it, still gave one hell of a performance.
But I'm telling you and I'm telling everybody at this table that that's a shark. And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one because I don't intend to go through that hell again.
We have the mayor returning, and Mrs. Brody, though that didn't really help 4, and the other town folks who also made poor decisions in the first are back to make the same poor decisions in the sequel. Other than Michael and Sean being in 3, it really has no connection to the first 2, or even the one that followed after. Considering that they weren't originally supposed to be in it, it's no wonder it feels disconnected. But that's getting into if the Brodies even should be connected all the time, which is a different conversation altogether. Revenge is certainly a case for why the Brodies don't always need to be involved. To bring it back around to the original point, yes, Jaws 2 is good. Is it as good as the first? No, and it was never going to be. It had a great tagline though. Jaws 3D and Jaws the Revenge are trash. Piggybacking off what I just said, this is a extremely cold take. It's a very common opinion to think 3 and Revenge are garbage. The hot take is saying they're good, unironically. The scolding take is saying that 3 and Revenge are better than the original. There's your hot take. Jaws 2 is a lot better than people give it credit. It's a slasher with a shark and has the best kills of the franchise. I agree with the first part of this. As for the best kills, they're certainly the most bombastic. Not sure I fully agree, but I can see where you're coming from. The bit where, the shark gets Eddie, and it's like propelling him towards the boat, and he just fucking slams into it. And that's great, that's memorable. Even when it pulls him down, he actually, breaks off a piece of the boat, kind of takes it with him. It's a good scene, actually. I like it. I even like the fin in the background that it comes up to. It's a great shot of it. It attacking the lady in the boat with the fire, gets a scar on its face, it's a little much, but still nice. Leave the helicopter. It took down the guy in the helicopter. That's what I mean of, bombastic. Maybe not the best, but bombastic. Although, I will say also the divers it kills at the beginning are great. I like that scene a lot. Jaws the Revenge is better than Jaws 3. At least Revenge tried to be something and not just a gimmick, I guess. Both are terrible, and I agree that it's better than 3, but that's such a low bar. Are the 3D effects worse than the shark having a psychic link with Ellen? One's a visual disaster while the other is just fucking stupid. There's no other way to put it. Revenge is only good if enjoyed ironically. Jaws 2 is a pretty great monster movie. Its biggest problem working against it is that it's the follow-up to one of the greatest, most perfect movies ever created. It was never going to measure up. Once again, I would say this is a cold take. Most people agree that Jaws 2 is pretty good or decent when compared to the 2 that follow after it. I'd say it's the black sheep of the franchise. It's nowhere near as good as the original, but also not even close to being as bad as 3 and Revenge. It occupies a spot in the middle. The underwater chase sequence in Jaws the Revenge with Michael being pursued by the shark is legitimately scary. It's a good scene to watch, but is it scary? No. The concept itself is scary. A killer shark chasing you in a claustrophobic environment, especially when said shark is most likely supernatural. Yeah, that's scary. As for the execution, what we actually get in the film, it's got some great shots, like the silhouette of the shark swimming above, and even the shots of it swimming, through the wrecked sub. Those are pretty cool. So, in short, is it fun to watch, even if the shark looks kinda dopey? Sure. Is it scary? Only in concept. While I love the movie, the book is really good too. Now, you see, the real hot take would be saying that the book is better, but in some circles, implying that the book is good at all is a hot take, so I can work with this. The answer to this is yes, but also no. Jaws is one of the rare examples where the movie is better. I struggle to think of something the book did that I prefer. But this take wasn't about which is better. It's acknowledging that the book still has merit, and to that, I say yes. Does it have a lot of unnecessary fluff? Yes. Did we need the stuff with Ellen and Hooper? No. Did we need the Mafia being involved to explain the mayor being shit? No. Is this version of Brody, Quint, and honestly every other character dicks in a step down from the movie counterparts? Yes. Does the shark die in a really anticlimactic way? Yes. Shit. I'm supposed to be talking about, what's good about it.
There's a guy named Brody and his pal Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, that's wrong. Hooper and Brody in the book share a completely different dynamic. As opposed to being buddies like they are in the film, they fucking hate each other. While the affair subplot is horribly unnecessary, it does manage to create some tension, especially once they're on the boat. You get to learn more about the town of Amity. Granted, it's stuff you already learned in the movie, but it goes into more detail. Of the characters that appear in both the book and movie, I would say Brody is the most likable. Now don't get me wrong, he's still a dick, like everyone else is, but there's actually a decent person underneath. There's a chapter in the book that made me like him, and it's what showed me that he has the people's best interest. I get why it was omitted from the movie, but it stuck out to me. Before we move on, there's one last thing I want to mention about the book, and to me, it's the most interesting thing about it, which would be the writing itself. It feels so standoffish. It's like the most openly hostile thing I've ever read. It's written in third person, and the way things are narrated feels so mean-spirited. It's kind of wild, honestly. If you've read it before, let me know if you agree, or if you think I'm a crazy person, because this stuck out to me when reading it. But yeah, that's a big part of why I recommend it, because I want to know if anyone else thinks this. Jaws should never be remade in this day and age. Not a hot take. Just about everyone says this. No matter what they do, it's an inferior product to the original. They could try to modernize it, but I don't need to tell you all the ways that's bad. They could do what Disney's doing with their live-action remakes, and give us a shot-for-shot remake, but it would still be inferior to the original, so what's the point? Going to the Disney idea again, they could remake it, but it's animated. Jaws, with the Pixar designs. Let me see Brody with that fucking beam mouth. But why stop at CG though? We could have Jaws the anime. Fuck a remake. Why not go for a cartoon that picks up after the events of the movie? Something like Godzilla the series. I present to you Jaws, the animated series, where Brody, Hooper, and fuck it, Quint can use Bruce to fight other, bigger sea creatures. Bonus points if they want to make it in the style of the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla series, since I'm pretty sure both of these were from the 70s. To give an honest answer though, I think the only way you could remake Jaws and it be interesting is if you make it an adaptation of the book. Seeing as the movie is better, it's still going to be inferior, but it's the only thing I can think of. And also, for those few of you who exist, I know you're out there, I've seen you, who prefer the book, like it more, I mean, hey, there you go. Sean's death in Jaws the Revenge is one of the scariest deaths in the Jaws movies. Not sure I agree with the scariest, but it's a really well done scene. The beginning of Jaws the Revenge is actually really good. It's all downhill from there though. Marge died for this, you know. I did not care for Richard Dreyfuss. Neither did Shaw. You don't like Hooper though? Hooper's great. Our three leads are great, honestly, and I couldn't imagine this movie without them. I appreciate the actual hot take, however, though. Hooper! I'm not a big fan of the John Williams score. The part is cool, but the fun, whimsical adventure music in the second half of the movie always takes me out of it. You don't like one of the best scores in all of cinema? Look, I said at the start of the video, but I like the adventurous sounding songs. It helps keep it from being doom and gloom all the time. And maybe doom and gloom isn't the right word, maybe suspenseful, but you know what I'm getting at. Plus, they're on an adventure to kill the shark, so the music should match that. Let it be full of suspense and dread when the shark is attacking. And let it be full of adventure and wonder when even the characters are taking in the sight of Bruce and what he can do. Take, for example, the first time you see Bruce as he swims past the boat.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons on them.
This is the first full-body shot for you and the characters. The music conveys a sense of awe as you and the characters are taking in the sheer size of Bruce. Shortly after, you've got Hooper trying to take pictures.
I need to stay here! I'm begging you, Martin, goddammit! Come here, darling. Come here, darling!
Bruce is dangerous and has eaten plenty of people, but Hooper still can't help but marvel at this animal produced by nature. Now compare that to when Bruce attacks Chrissy, or Alex, or even the little rowboat guy. The music there doesn't have the same awe or wonder because it just wouldn't fit the tone. And that's really what it comes down to. Different tone for different scenes. And I personally don't feel like they clash with each other. When Quint slips into the shark's mouth and dies, it's not because of the air tank that rolls over his fingers, but rather the arm wrestling injury he suffered celebrating his third wife Demise in San Francisco, which he tells Brody and Hooper about shortly before the USS Indianapolis monologue. In that scene, he says he can't extend his arm because of the injury. That's a neat little detail. One I can't say I've noticed. I'm not really sure if I would call it a hot take, but considering that it could be debated to be, the reason you gave, or the tank rolling on his fingers, or even a secret third option, I'll accept it. Vaughn was right to not close the beaches after the first attack. There was not any evidence at that time that it wasn't a fluke tragedy, that this one shark would suddenly decide to start attacking humans on purpose.
The beach should be closed, but the mayor, money-hungry man, doesn't want it to be closed. This just spells out disaster.
Okay, look, I can give you that, but my counter-argument is that he was already trying to cover up it was a shark attack from the get-go. Hell, if not for the witnesses, he would have found a way to cover up the death of Alex Kittner. But even with witnesses, he still wanted the beaches open. Harry's hat was actually quite stylish and not bad.
Some bad hat, Harry.
The shark is the hero. In the book, yes. The older I get, the better Mrs. Brody looks. Not really sure if this is a hot take, but I get it. You're gonna need a bigger boat is one of the great cinematic lines of dialogue, but it should have been a one and done job. Brody repeats it a couple of times later, and I genuinely think it detracts from the first awesome time it's said. I can see what you're getting at, but it never bothered me. I think him harping on it is a great way to show how, just in over his head he is and panicky he's getting about the entire situation. In my opinion, it just makes sense for his character to harp on it. Why attach a tracker and then completely ignore it? I've wondered about this. First time I've seen it, but especially more on any kind of rewatch I've done of it. Because what was the point? What was the purpose? If anyone knows or has any ideas, just, I don't know, feel free to comment, feel free to share. I would love to hear it. Hooper and Mrs. Brody should have hooked up. Well, they do in the book, but I'm guessing you already knew that. I'm going to say no to this. A hard no, in fact. It was unnecessary in the book and would have been horrible in the movie. At least in the book, it, fits the more pessimistic tone and everyone being shitty. It would have clashed so hard with what the movie was going for. Spielberg was right to leave it out. The shark is hot. He very much appreciates that. Jaws 3D and Jaws the Revenge are the best Jaws movies. Scolding. This is a scolding take. There is no way this is a real opinion. There's no way you actually believe this. I mean, I guess there's enough people on the planet for someone to think. But, I mean, look, I understand it's an opinion, but it's just wrong. But I appreciate the hot take, though. I appreciate this. But you know, I would actually like to know, I would just love to hear someone's reason for why Jaws 3, or hell, you know what, fuck it, Jaws 2, Jaws Revenge, any of the sequels really, on why you think it's better than the original. The key change from the scar scene to the monologue is one of the finest moments in cinema, but Hooper asking about the tattoo seems forced. They were comparing scars, not tattoos. Well, for starters, it was Brody that asked, so you're wrong already.
That one there, on your arm.
Also, he didn't ask about a tattoo, he asked about a scar. Quint revealed that it was originally a tattoo, but he got it removed.
Oh, well, it's a tattoo. I got that removed.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Mother.
You need to watch the scene again. These were certainly some, well, they were fun to go through. I'm telling you, Jaws is apparently above criticism. You can't touch it, you can't critique it, it's just perfect, I guess. It really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, though. It's celebrating 50 years, and is still incredibly popular. And, I mean, you don't last that long and be, as celebrated for no reason, surely anyway. It's the shark movie to end all shark movies, and I still love it just as much as when I first watched it as a kid. This was a lot of fun to make, and I would love to do something like this again. Hell, if you have any of your own unpopular opinions or hot takes, whatever you want to call it, criticisms on this wonderful movie, I'd love to hear them. Hopefully they're actually unpopular, but feel free to share whatever opinion you want, whatever thought, observation, just, I don't know, let's talk about this glorious, grand movie. This is goodbye, and thanks for watching.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.